I am so excited to come here today and bring you the first edition of Market Movers, but this time instead of baseball, we're doing basketball. Let's get it, baby. In this video, we're going to go ahead and analyze the whole basketball market, and we're going to do it in just one video. We're going to try to do this every single week and give you updates about players and how they're doing and good and bad, and give you a little general market scope. So without further ado, let's do it. To start this video off, one player that has been absolutely amazing has been Stephen Curry. Lately, if you've seen him play, he's been absolutely popping off. His shooting has been amazing. He was hurt last season, but he's coming back with some fire in him, and you can just see it. Something that has happened with him is that his cards have went absolutely ballistic as well. If we just take a look at his Topps base right here, this card, although even I don't really love the design, to be honest, not my favorite design card. However, he has been going through the roof recently, and as we can see from the January all the way to April, we can see a 25% increase according to Market Movers right here. And it was even more at the peak and the apex, which is really crazy. And it kind of makes sense because he's been playing so well. People can justify his value, and that's why his cards have been moving up. The next player we're going to go ahead and move on to is LeBron James. The King has saw his cards increasing a lot in February. That is because everybody was getting very high on these type of cards going into players who were GOATs, and a lot of modern was falling down. So as we can see due to the graph right here that we just have the LeBron PSI 9 Topps base, and you can see how in February it went up and peaked, and his cards have came down recently. From January to now, there is an 8% decrease in his cards. With that being said, over the long term, I really don't think that's going to affect much. But however, you can see from going ahead in February, you can see that they were very high and that the prices were super high, and we definitely did need a correction. So it makes sense that why these cards came down a little bit. However, there is a lot of price resistance for this LeBron card around the $2,000 range. It maybe went a little bit over with some sales, but no worries on that. These cards are just coming back, and it's just a simple market correction. Speaking about market correction, the same exact phenomenon is having with Kobe Bryant cards as well. They were pumped up a lot, and I can even recall going to Dallas the last time I went, which is, I believe, in February or early March, and people were super high on his cards. The prices were insane. I saw prices double and triple basically over just a couple weeks, and I kind of had that feeling that it was getting pumped very, very high. So it makes sense that they're coming down a little bit. If you really look over a longer term, you can see that the Kobe Bryant cards have definitely been increasing over time, but due to the couple months we have here and due to the little graph, you can see that they've been pumped up very high or just correcting back down. Now, with this being said, I truly believe that these prices can get there again over time. However, it's a little bit of a premature spike, and it is a little bit of a phenomenon called pump and dump, if you will. And if you're familiar with certain stocks and cryptocurrencies, that happens sometimes. So these cards are in correction right now, and they are looking like pretty good buys at the price. If you can get a really good deal, it might be worth it for you. So here we go with the Kobe Bryant card. Reverting back to some of the modern stuff, we have Zion Williamson, and one card we're going to take a look at is his Prism Silver. You see, his Prism Silver and his other variation cards have been rising up a little bit since February. They were pushed down a lot February because people were very high on GOATs and not very high on modern players. However, his cards are starting to come back a bit. I will say that the Prism base ones have not been recovering as well because they're very overproduced, and their cards there's some that even have sometimes a population count, though the 9 and 10 count are just so high. So that is why the other types of cards, and that's why we're looking at this Zion Williamson Silver right here, because it's a very interesting card, is in lower pop, and is starting to move up slightly. So that's pretty cool, and I wanted to show you guys this. Another young buck who's been playing very well lately is Gary Trent Jr. You see, his cards used to be around the $5 range, and as we can see from the scrap provided by market movers, they're starting to move up into the $10, $15 range. I know that's not a big jump in monetary value. However, that is a huge percentage jump. And if we look here, starting from January to now, we see a 290% increase in the card's value, which is pretty crazy considering they used to be basically a card that was just thrown in the dollar box and something that no one really cared about. So I think that's pretty awesome. He's been improving a lot over the season, and we'll see what he can do, and we'll see if we can hold this. But his little market trend and just someone that maybe flies a little under the radar. So I wanted to let you guys know that his cards have been increasing in price. And the last card we're going to go over today before we finish up this video is the LaMelo Ball Prism base card. At the beginning of April, you see this card at around $300. That is because Prism just came out and everybody wanted to get their hands on it. However, as people have been going ahead and getting their hands on this product and ripping it open, there's been a decline actually, and it's been down to now around today, which is April 22nd. You can see that this card has went down all the way to $160, which is a huge decrease. It's basically cut its price in half. And what we're seeing here is the law of supply. So when supply goes up, then the price will fall down. So it's cool to see that law in action, get the little economics and just really apply that to cards. And I wanted to show you guys this because I did make a video about this earlier, but thanks to market movers, we have some awesome empirical data that's easy to show, and I'm glad to be able to supply it to you guys. To summarize this video for today and give you just a little market outlook before we go, we have cards such as LeBron and Kobe correcting a little bit because they got pumped up, not because it has anything to do with their player, but because in February, their cards were pumped up so high that they just ended up correcting down. And conversely, a lot of the modern cards were pulled down very harshly, and they're starting to correct too, but to go to the upside instead of the downside. Along with these market trends, you have certain players that have been playing very well, and that is also why that their cards have been increasing, not just because of market conditions. And two of these players we discuss are Gary Trent, who's been playing a lot better lately, and I want to show his stats here so you have it. And then also Steph Curry coming back, and he's had multiple insane games of like 30 plus points. So he's absolutely balling right now and super fun to watch. Alrighty guys, that is all we have for you today. Thank you so much for viewing in, and we love the fact that you guys are getting involved. We have a bunch of stuff, including our Discord in the link down below. We have almost 350 people in that Discord, which is insane considering that we had just started this whole thing from basically the ground up, and now that we're here at this point, Ryan and I are thrilled. Thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot. And without further ado, Breakout Cards out.